This is a kind of a walkthrough of an app foundation framework, whatever it might be called, an agent tool that I built, inspired by OpenClaw, which look that up if you don't know what it is, but it was kind of a eye-opening new tool that emerged a few weeks ago, and I was looking into what it really does and decided, based on conversations I heard about and videos I watched, I decided to try to build one of my own using Claude Code. So here's an overview of what I did. I called it Agent Ronin for whatever reason. Personal AI agent that lives on my own computer, runs around the clock. You can talk through a web dashboard, as we'll show here, command line interface, and you can use Telegram to communicate with Agent Ronin. One thing, I had gotten OpenClaw up and running, but I wasn't enough of a daredevil to run it on my local machine. So I used Hostinger to put together a VPS where I could host OpenClaw, and I had great success with that. I'm in the process now of actually creating a Telegram group with both Agent Ronin and the tool on OpenClaw called Robin. So this is crazy stuff. Um, anyway, we'll see how that goes. I'll post a video about that. If you want, you can pause this here and read through all the Agent Ronin descriptions, 24 tools, 4 interfaces, and whatnot. The tech stack is here, explaining what I put together. And it's a fascinating thing to work with Claude Code, because if you have sort of an engineering background, which I have for 30 years, you really know how to architect a system, but it's nice to sort of bolt on this super brain to help you execute what you want to do. There's a lot of iteration. You definitely, this isn't a push button thing. You still have to have some chops to get down at the command line to run npm jobs and a lot of things. And it's fun getting back into this. I haven't done it for years. So here's the architecture that we put together. You can see we have inbound triggers, a gateway, this agent loop, and this is also, we're building it out so I can have sub agents if you want to delegate tasks out to other agents that specialize maybe and work asynchronously together. One thing I wanted to do, which is kind of cool, was create an Evernote bridge. I've been wanting to have some way to do like serious AI interactions with my Evernotes, which are over 20,000 now, over 15 years. I couldn't find any tool out there to do that, so I was able to build my own. I export the notebooks and enable these tools to go in and access them so I can interact with them. I'll show that here shortly. But you can see then there's different tools, memory output here, and the triggers can be cron schedules. There's a thing which they're calling a heartbeat, which is basically a cron job that repeats to then decide what kind of actions it needs to take. So let's walk through some of this. Here's we saw the about on the page here. So let's look at what the chat can do. So let's say let's just heard of the term for a new, relatively new sort of job description, and that was called forward development engineer. So let's first ask the chat interface what that is. And I also built this in with a model router because I learned on OpenClaw that you can burn through tokens pretty quickly and run up a quite a stiff bill. So I have this actually route to Haiku, and it's something that's not doesn't require a lot of reasoning or thinking. And then I use Sonnet 4.6 for the heavy lifting. So here I ask it about this role, and it tells me, oh, it gave me the another output. Let's try it again. And let's see what we get. Ah, there it was. and that gives you an overview of this role, which I just heard about today through a friend, and there's this description of that. So that's one thing you could do. You can also say, let's try another one. You can start a new chat, keep a new session, and say, provide a 400 word overview of Advaita Vedanta. Uh, let's see what happens here. This is just to give a little variety of what kind of things we can search for and interact with. And it's very much like any just normal interaction with Claude Sonnet 4.6 or any other frontier models or small, lesser known models. So that's what that can do. Let's look at the sessions next. So this keeps track of everything I'm doing with this session. It shows heartbeat, which is a recurring self trigger that fires on intervals. I've set it to 30 minutes, and it kind of wakes up and reads data from that heartbeat.md file, and it runs some tasks based on instructions that I give it, meaning it can program its own future behavior in the middle of a conversation. It runs its own persistence session, and this uses Haiku by default. You can see here that let's open one of these. You can see the CLI is something I ran from the command line. Look at this, and it has the session there that record of that. The heartbeat, we see that running, and it's kind of showing what it's tracked through the heartbeat, different things I want it to do. Memory, very simple too. It just keeps track of things we've discussed, and it uses RAG for a lot of these operations. We're using Cron as a vector database. Automations, this is where we interact essentially with the heartbeat. So when it wakes up, it might, there's a cron description here. I did the typical morning briefing thing, which is always a simple use case. And I have an evening wisdom thing where it will send to me on Telegram a little text that's just kind of like a topics of things I'm interested in. And it'll give a little 200 word, call it an affirmation, just to come up with something. Evernote, this was one of the things that was really cool to me. So let me think of something here. I didn't prepare for this. So you can just do a typical search where you search for something kind of just a typical lexical search. Delayed reaction was banned with me and my friend Joe. And so there's it calls up notes, and it can, here it shows the output of the note. You can also do an AI chat, say something like, let me think here, tell me about any sports references in my notes. Untested, let's see what comes up, have no idea. Almost done. So many notes deep. I haven't uploaded them all, so that's the thing. I export them as .enex files. And I've only done a handful of the notebooks just to get things started. So there's that. I think that's about it. The automations, I think I should. You can add a new one. I can't remember. Call it what you want. Give it some instructions. That's about it. It was really a fun project. This took about 10 hours over the weekend. I also have the Claude Code remote set up on my phone. So if I'm out in a pub having cocktails, which I want to do, then I can actually track this thing. And as it asks for permissions to execute different actions on my computer, I can okay that remotely and just keep things moving without having to have hands on keyboard. So that's about it. It was really a lot of fun.